Captain Zolthek stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the screens in front of him. The Void Seeker was a small but fast ship that belonged to the great Corvian Empire. His job was simple: fly around space and look for new planets that his people could take over. Today felt different. His ship's computers were making sounds that meant they had found something interesting. Zolthek walked over to the main screen and saw a small blue planet spinning slowly in space. It was the third planet from a yellow star, and it looked perfect for his people to live on. "Run a full scan," he told his crew. "The ship's powerful." Sensors started looking at the planet from far away. The information that came back made Zolthek smile. This planet had water, air that could be breathed, and lots of living things on it. But the best part was that it looked completely helpless. The sensors showed that the people on this planet were very primitive. They had only just started to fly in space. Their ships were slow and simple. The planet had no shields to protect it, and no big weapons that could fight back. It was perfect. Far below on the planet Earth, Admiral Kate Morrison was sitting in a secret room deep underground. She was looking at her own screens, but these showed something very different. Her computers had detected the alien ship the moment it entered their solar system. Kate picked up a red phone that connected her directly to the most important people on Earth. "This is Morrison," she said when someone answered. "We have contact. The aliens have finally found us." General Ryan Collins was in his office at the Pentagon when Kate's call came through. He had been waiting for this moment for 30 years. Ever since the first alien ship had been shot down in secret, humanity had been preparing. They knew that one day more aliens would come looking for Earth. "How long do we have?" Ryan asked Kate. "Based on their technology, they will need about 3 months to bring a full attack fleet here," Kate replied. "But we are ready. Everything has been prepared just like we planned." Ryan smiled. The aliens thought Earth was weak and helpless. They had no idea what humans had been building in secret. For 30 years, Earth's smartest people had been working on weapons and defenses that no alien had ever seen before. Dr. Lisa Parker was in her laboratory, buried deep under the Nevada desert. Her computer screen lit up with an urgent message from Admiral Morrison. The message was short. Code red. All systems go. Lisa had spent 20 years of her life working on the Prometheus Defense Project. It was the biggest secret on Earth. The project had built weapons so powerful that they could destroy entire fleets of alien ships. But the aliens didn't know these weapons existed because they were hidden so well. Lisa started typing commands into her computer. All across Earth, secret facilities began to wake up. Underground bases that looked like empty fields started preparing their weapons. Fake buildings that looked like normal factories began charging their energy systems. Even the moon had secret bases that were getting ready for war. Commander Jake Sullivan was on a space station that no alien had ever seen. The Aurora station was completely invisible to alien sensors. It floated in space between Earth and Mars, waiting for the day when it would be needed. Jake looked at his crew. These were the best pilots and soldiers that Earth had ever trained. They had practiced for this moment thousands of times. Every person on the station knew exactly what to do when the aliens came. "Sir," said one of his officers, "we're getting the activation signal from Earth Command." Jake nodded. "Begin final preparations. Check all weapons and make sure our stealth systems are working perfectly. When those aliens arrive, they're going to get the biggest surprise of their lives." Back on the alien ship, Captain Zolthek was sending his report to the Corvian Empire's main fleet. He told them about the beautiful blue planet that would be easy to conquer. He described how the humans had weak technology and no way to fight back. The message traveled through space at incredible speed. When it reached the Empire's home world, the military leaders were very excited. They had been looking for new planets to add to their empire, And this one sounded perfect. Grand Admiral Vextar was the most powerful military leader in the Corvian Empire. When he read the report about Earth, he laughed out loud. "These humans will surrender the moment they see our ships," he told his officers. "We won't even need to fire a shot." Vextar ordered his best ships to prepare for the invasion. He chose 200 of the Empire's most powerful warships. Each ship was bigger than a city and carried weapons that could destroy mountains. The Grand Admiral was sure that the humans would be so scared when they saw this fleet that they would give up immediately. President Helen Carter was in a meeting with world leaders when she got the call about the alien discovery. She looked calm, but inside she was nervous. For 30 years, every country on Earth had been working together to prepare for this day. They had kept it secret from their own people because they didn't want to cause panic. "How ready are we?" asked the President of Russia. "As ready as we can be," Helen replied. "Our scientists say our technology is better than anything the aliens have. But we won't know for sure until they get here." The world leaders agreed to continue hiding the truth from the public. People on Earth would keep living normal lives, not knowing that aliens were coming to invade their planet. Only a few thousand people knew the real truth about what was going to happen. Colonel Sam Mitchell was responsible for making sure the aliens couldn't detect Earth's real defenses. For decades, he had been placing fake equipment around the solar system. Old satellites had been modified to hide powerful weapons. Space junk was really secret sensors that watched for alien ships. The aliens would see exactly what Sam wanted them to see: a weak planet with primitive technology. They would never suspect that humans had weapons more advanced than anything in their empire. As the days passed, both sides prepared for what was coming. The aliens gathered their fleet and made plans for an easy victory. The humans checked their secret weapons and got ready to defend their home. Neither side knew that this would become the shortest war in galactic history. In just 5 minutes, everything would change forever. 2 months had passed since the alien ship first spotted Earth. On the surface, everything looked normal. People went to work, children went to school, and life continued as it always had. But deep underground and in hidden places around the world, the final preparations for war were happening. President Helen Carter stood at the podium in the United Nations building. Cameras from around the world were pointed at her as she spoke about peace and humanity's dreams of exploring space. Her words were calm and hopeful, but she knew that alien ships were already on their way to destroy everything she was talking about. "We must continue to work together as one human family," Helen said to the world leaders in front of her. "Our future in space depends on cooperation and peaceful exploration." The people watching on television had no idea that their president was lying to protect them. Helen had spent weeks practicing this speech with experts who helped her say exactly the right things. Every word was chosen to make the aliens think that humans were weak and peaceful. In a secret meeting room beneath the United Nations building, Helen met with the leaders of every major country on Earth: the Russian president, the Chinese premier, the prime ministers of Britain and Japan, and dozens of other world leaders sat around a long table. "The alien fleet will arrive in 2 months," General Ryan Collins told the group. "Our spies in space have been watching them. They have 200 ships, each one bigger and more powerful than anything humans have ever built." The German chancellor raised her hand. "Are we really ready for this? These aliens have been traveling between stars for thousands of years." Admiral Kate Morrison stood up and activated a holographic display. It showed Earth surrounded by thousands of tiny dots. "Each of these dots is a hidden weapon or defense system," she explained. "We have been building them for 30 years. The aliens have no idea they exist." Colonel Sam Mitchell was working day and night to make sure the deception continued to work. His job was to control what the aliens could see when they looked at Earth from space. He had teams of people all over the world whose only job was to hide humanity's real technology. The old radar stations are now particle beam weapons, Sam explained to his team. But to alien sensors, they still look like primitive radar. The fake signals we're broadcasting make our technology look like it's from the 1960s. Sam's people had done amazing work. Communication towers that looked normal from space were really powerful energy weapons. Airports that seemed to handle regular. Planes were actually launch sites for secret spacecraft. Even the International Space Station had been secretly rebuilt with weapons that could destroy alien ships. Dr. Lisa Parker was in her underground laboratory, making final adjustments to the most powerful weapon system ever built. The Prometheus defense grid was connected to power plants and computer systems all over Earth. When activated, it would turn the entire planet into one giant weapon. The quantum computers are running perfectly, Lisa told her assistant, Dr. Mark Johnson. The fusion reactors are at full power, and all the targeting systems are online. We can fire this weapon in less than 10 seconds when we get the order. Lisa's team had solved problems that the world's smartest scientists had said were impossible. They had learned to bend space and time, to create energy from nothing, and to make weapons that could destroy anything. The aliens had given humans some of this knowledge when their ships crashed on Earth, but human scientists had improved it in ways the aliens never imagined. Engineer Maya Rodriguez was at a facility that looked like a normal electrical power plant. But hidden beneath the ground were the generators for Earth's planetary shield system. Maya and her team had built similar facilities all over the world, each one disguised as something completely ordinary. The shield generators are ready, Maya reported to her supervisor. When we activate them, Earth will be protected by an energy barrier stronger than anything the aliens have. Their weapons won't even scratch it. Maya's shields use technology that the aliens had never seen before. Human scientists had discovered how to create barriers in space itself, making walls of energy that nothing could pass through. The aliens would fire their most powerful weapons at these shields and watch in shock as nothing happened. Lieutenant Commander Alex Parker was in a secret base on the far side of the moon. This base was so well hidden that even Earth's own satellites couldn't detect it. Alex and his pilots were the best fighters that humanity had ever trained. Their ships were faster and more deadly than anything the aliens flew. Remember, Alex told his squadron, speed and surprise are our greatest weapons. The aliens think their ships are the fastest things in space. They're about to learn they're wrong. Alex's fighters used engines that bent the laws of physics. They could appear and disappear instantly, travel faster than light for short distances, and fire weapons that could cut alien ships in half. Pilots had trained in simulators for years, fighting against computer programs that used real alien tactics. Nina Brooks worked in a building that looked like a normal office complex. But this was actually the center of Earth's intelligence network. Nina and her team had been lying to aliens for decades, making sure they believed humans were primitive and harmless. Every alien probe that has visited our solar system has been fed false information, Nina explained to her new agents. They think our fastest ships can barely reach our own moon. They think our most powerful weapons are nuclear bombs. They have no idea what we're really capable of. Nina's people were experts at deception. They had created fake radio signals, false computer records, and even holographic projections that made human technology look much weaker than it really was. When aliens scanned Earth from far away, they saw exactly what Nina wanted them to see. Corvian fleet was halfway to Earth now, traveling through space at incredible speed. Grand Admiral Vextar spent his time planning the invasion and thinking about how easy it would be. His intelligence officers had confirmed that the humans had no real defenses. They don't even have shields around their planet, laughed Commander Kelder, Vexstar second in command. We could destroy their entire civilization with just one of our dreadnoughts. Vexstar nodded. This will be the easiest conquest in the history of our empire. We'll demand their surrender, and when they refuse, we'll destroy a few of their cities. After that, they'll beg us to stop. The Corvian officers spent their time making bets about how quickly the humans would surrender. Some thought it would take hours. Others believed the humans would give up the moment they saw the alien fleet. None of them imagined that the humans might actually fight back. Back on Earth, the secret preparations continued. Factory workers who thought they were building car parts were actually making components for space weapons. Construction crews who believed they were digging foundations for new buildings were really creating underground military bases. Dr. Lisa Parker met with Admiral Kate Morrison in the deep underground command center beneath Cheyenne Mountain. This room would be the nerve center of Earth's defense when the aliens arrived. All systems are ready, Lisa reported. The Prometheus grid can fire at full power. The planetary shields can protect us from any attack. Our space fighters are ready. To launch, we've done everything we can. Kate looked at the massive displays that showed the positions of every hidden weapon and defense system on Earth. 30 years of preparation, she said quietly. 30 years of keeping secrets, telling lies, and getting ready for this moment. I just hope it's enough. It will be, Lisa replied with confidence. The aliens are going to learn that humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. They just don't know it yet. As the alien fleet continued its journey toward Earth, both sides were confident they would win. The aliens expected an easy victory over a primitive species. The humans knew they had weapons and defenses that would shock the galaxy. In 2 months, everyone would learn the truth. The shortest war in galactic history was about to begin. The morning of the invasion started like any other day on Earth. People woke up, had breakfast, and went to work. Children played in parks while their parents worried about normal things like paying bills and getting promotions. Nobody knew that. In a few hours, everything would change forever. At exactly 11:47 a.m., space itself seemed to tear open at the edge of the solar system. Massive alien ships began appearing out of nowhere, cropping out of hyperspace in perfect formation. The Corvian invasion fleet had arrived, and it was bigger and more terrifying than anything humans had ever seen. Grand Admiral Vexstar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. The ship was so large that small cities could fit. Inside it, its weapons could destroy entire moons, and its shields could stop any attack. Around it, 199 other warships formed a wall of metal and death that stretched across space. Magnificent, Vexstar said as he looked at his fleet. The humans will wet themselves with fear when they see this. His officers laughed and agreed. They had conquered dozens of worlds, and it was always the same. Primitive species would see the Corvian fleet and immediately surrender. Those who tried to fight were destroyed so quickly that other planets learned not to resist. Deep beneath Cheyenne Mountain, Admiral Kate Morrison felt her heart skip a beat as her sensors detected the alien arrival. Red lights flashed throughout. The command center has computers calculated the size and power of the alien fleet. The numbers were scary, but Kate had been preparing for this moment her entire career. "This is Admiral Morrison," she said into her microphone. "All units, this is Protocol Omega. I repeat, Protocol Omega is now active." Those words sent signals to secret bases all over Earth and throughout the solar system. In underground facilities, fusion reactors that had been sleeping for decades suddenly roared to life. On the moon, hidden doors opened to reveal weapons that had never been fired. In space, cloaked stations began charging their most powerful systems. Dr. Lisa Parker was in her laboratory when the activation order came through. She had waited 20 years for this moment. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panels as the Prometheus defense grid came online. Energy readings spiked as the most powerful weapon system ever built prepared for battle. Quantum computers at maximum capacity, she called out to her team. Fusion reactors stable. Targeting systems locked and loaded. We are ready to show these aliens what human science can do. The alien fleet began moving toward Earth, confident and slow. They were not in any hurry because they expected no resistance. Grand Admiral Vextar ordered his communications officer to send the standard surrender demand to the primitive planet ahead of them. Unknown species of the third planet, the message began. You are now subjects of the Corvian Empire. Surrender immediately, and your deaths will be quick. Resist, and we will make your species extinct. The message was broadcast on all frequencies that humans used for communication. Within minutes, it reached Earth and was picked up by every radio and television station on the planet. For the first time, ordinary people learned that aliens existed and were threatening their world. Panic began spreading through cities around the globe. People called their families, grabbed their children, and tried to figure out what to do. Governments tried to calm their citizens, but nobody really knew how to handle the situation, except for a few thousand people who had been peeping. The biggest secret in human history, President Helen Carter, appeared on television screens around the world. She looked calm and confident, which surprised many people who expected her to be terrified. My fellow humans, she began, what you are seeing and hearing is real. An alien fleet has arrived at our solar system and is threatening our world. But I want you to know that we are not helpless. For 30 years, we have been preparing for this day. As Helen spoke, something amazing began happening around the world. Buildings that everyone thought were normal suddenly opened up to reveal hidden weapons. Radio towers transformed into energy cannons. Airport runways split apart to show missile launchers underneath. Commander Jake Sullivan was aboard Aurora Station when the order to decloak came through. For 15 years, his battle platform had been invisible, floating in space where no alien could detect it. Now it was time to show the galaxy what humans had really been doing in secret. Deactivate stealth systems, Jake commanded. All weapons to full power. Prepare for combat. Around him, 17 other hidden platforms suddenly became visible. Each one was armed with weapons that could destroy entire fleets. The aliens had been surrounded from the moment they entered the solar system, and they didn't even know it. Grand Admiral Vextar was reviewing his battle plans when his sensor officer made a sound of confusion. Sir, the officer said, I'm detecting some unusual readings from the human planet. Vextar looked at his screens and frowned. What he saw didn't make sense. The planet that had appeared helpless was suddenly showing massive energy readings. Weapons were appearing everywhere, and there were ships in space that his sensors had never detected before. That's impossible, Vextar said. Run a full scan again. There must be an error. But there was no error. Earth's true defenses were revealing themselves for the first time in 30 years. The Corvian Empire was about to learn that they had made the biggest mistake in their history. Captain Tony Wells commanded the destroyer Silent Thunder, one of dozens of ships that had been tracking the alien fleet since it entered the solar system. His ship was built using technology that the aliens had never seen before. It could appear and disappear instantly, fire weapons that bent space itself, and move faster than anything the Corvians flew. Target the lead ship, Tony ordered. His weapons officer, lock quantum torpedoes on their bridge. Wait for my command to fire. Around him, other human ships were taking similar positions. The aliens thought they were the hunters, but they were actually the prey. Humans had learned patience from watching predators on Earth, and now they were about to use that lesson in space. The alien fleet continued moving toward Earth, but their confidence was beginning to crack. Sensor readings showed that the planet was not as defenseless as they had believed. Energy signatures were appearing everywhere, and some of them were stronger than anything in the Corvian Empire. "Should we slow down, sir?" asked Commander Kelder. "Grand." Admiral Vextar shook his head. "No, these humans are trying to trick us with fake energy readings. Continue toward the planet. When we get closer, we'll show them what real power looks like." But the readings were not fake. Earth's planetary defense grid was charging up, preparing to fire weapons that could be seen from other star systems. Hidden bases on the moon were ready to launch fighters that could outfly anything the aliens had. Secret installations throughout the solar system were preparing for the shortest and most decisive battle in galactic history. Admiral Kate Morrison opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. Her voice was calm and professional as she delivered humanity's response to their surrender demand. "This is Earth Defense Command," she said. "You have entered our solar system without permission and threatened our world. You have 30 seconds to turn around and leave. If you do not comply, we will defend ourselves with all necessary force." Grand Admiral Vextar laughed when he heard the message. "They're bluffing," he told his officers. "A primitive species trying to scare us with big words. Continue the attack. We'll show them what happens when you threaten the Corvian Empire." But some of his officers were not so sure. The sensor readings were getting stronger, and their computers were detecting technology that they didn't recognize. A few of the younger officers suggested that maybe they should be more careful. "Sir," said Lieutenant Zormax, "these energy readings are unlike anything we've seen before." "Maybe we should silence," Vextar shouted. "We are the Corvian Empire. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We will not be stopped by a species that just learned to fly in space." The 30 seconds that Admiral Morrison had given them were almost up. On Earth, every weapon system was ready to fire. On the moon, fighter squadrons were prepared to launch. In space, cloaked battle platforms were locked onto their targets. The aliens had one last chance to leave peacefully. But Grand Admiral Vextar was too proud and too confident to take it. He ordered his fleet to prepare for bombardment, planning to destroy a few human cities to show his power. He had no idea that he was about to start the shortest war in galactic history. In just 5 minutes, the Corvian Empire would learn that humans were the most dangerous species they had ever encountered. The clock on Admiral Kate Morrison's command center read exactly 12 p.m. when Grand Admiral Vextar made the worst decision of his life. Standing on the bridge of his massive flagship, the alien commander looked at Earth and saw what he thought was a helpless planet full of primitive creatures. "Fire all weapons," Vextar commanded. "Destroy their largest cities. Show these humans what happens when they dare to threaten the Corvian Empire." The alien fleet powered up their massive guns. Energy began building in weapon systems that could turn mountains into dust. Across 200 ships, cannons that had destroyed countless worlds prepared to fire on Earth. The aliens expected to see cities burning and humans screaming in terror. They got something very different. At 12:01 p.m., Earth revealed its true face. Planet's surface suddenly erupted with light as thousands of hidden weapons fired at the same time. What the aliens had thought were radio towers and communication dishes were actually particle beam cannons more powerful than anything in their empire. Buildings that looked like ordinary factories opened up to reveal energy weapons that could cut through alien shields like paper. Dr. Lisa Parker pressed the activation button for the Prometheus defense grid. "Fire!" she shouted. Across Earth, fusion reactors that had been hidden for 30 years sent incredible amounts of power to weapons. That bent the laws of physics. Beams of pure energy shot up from the planet's surface, moving so fast that light seemed slow in comparison. These beams hit the alien ships before the Corvians even knew they had been fired. The first wave of Earth's attack destroyed 50 alien ships in the first 10 seconds. The massive vessels that had seemed so threatening simply vanished, turned into clouds of glowing gas by weapons they never saw coming. Grand Admiral Vextar stared at his screens in shock. "What just happened?" he yelled. "How did they—" His question was interrupted by another surprise. The moon, which the aliens had ignored because it looked like a dead rock, suddenly came alive. The surface split open like a flower, revealing massive railgun installations that had been built inside ancient craters. At 12:02 p.m., Commander Jake Sullivan gave the order that changed galactic history forever. "All units, decloak and engage," Jake commanded from Aurora Station. "Show them what humans can really do." Throughout the solar system, battle platforms that had been invisible for decades suddenly appeared. 18 massive space stations, each one armed with weapons that made alien technology look like toys, opened fire on the confused Corvian fleet. The aliens found themselves surrounded by enemies they had never detected. Human ships appeared out of nowhere, firing weapons that their sensors couldn't even understand. Space itself seemed to be attacking them as quantum cannons created tears in reality that swallowed alien vessels whole. Commander Kelder, Grand Admiral Vextar, second in command, looked at the tactical display and felt his blood turn cold. "Sir," he said in a shaking voice, "we're completely surrounded. They were waiting for us." Vextar couldn't believe what he was seeing. The humans had turned his ambush into their trap. Everything he thought he knew about this species was wrong. They weren't primitive at all. They were the most dangerous enemies his empire had ever faced. At 12:03 p.m., Lieutenant Commander Alex Parker led his fighter squadron out of their hidden base on the moon's far side. His ships were sleek and deadly, built with technology that combined human creativity with captured alien science. But the humans had improved the alien designs in ways their original creators never imagined. "Phoenix Squadron, this is Alex Parker," he said into his radio. "Target the alien fighters. Show them how humans really fly." The Corvian interceptors that launched to meet them were fast and well-armed. Under normal circumstances, they would have been dangerous opponents. But these were not normal circumstances. Alex's fighters moved like nothing the aliens had ever seen, appearing and disappearing instantly, firing weapons that seemed to ignore the laws of physics. Alex's ship, the Razor, dove through a formation of alien fighters like a shark through a school of fish. His quantum cannons fired beams of energy that cut enemy ships in half without slowing down. Behind him, his wingmen did the same, destroying alien fighters so quickly that the enemy pilots didn't even have time to be afraid. In less than 60 seconds, Alex's squadron had destroyed every alien fighter in space. The Corvian pilots, who had thought they were the best in the galaxy, were completely outmatched by human technology and training. Captain Tony Wells, commanding the destroyer Silent Thunder, was having an easy time of it. His ship's weapons could fire through dimensions, hitting alien vessels from directions that didn't exist in normal space. The Corvians tried to return fire, but their weapons couldn't even find his ship. "This is almost too easy," Tony said to his weapons officer. "Lock quantum torpedoes on that dreadnought. Let's see how tough their armor really is." The torpedoes that fired from Silent Thunder didn't travel through normal space. Instead, they appeared inside the alien ship, bypassing its shields and armor completely. The massive dreadnought exploded from the inside out, destroyed by weapons it never had. A chance to stop. At 12:04 p.m., Dr. Lisa Parker activated the most powerful weapon that humans had ever built. "Prometheus grid to maximum power," she announced. "Prepare to fire the planet killer." The Prometheus defense grid was more than just a weapon system. It was Earth itself, turned into a cannon that could destroy entire fleets. Every power plant on the planet fed energy into the system. Every computer on Earth helped calculate the targeting. Every human on the planet became part of the weapon that was about to end the war. A beam of energy erupted from Earth's North Pole that was so bright it could be seen from other star systems. This beam was made of forces that the aliens didn't even have names for. It moved faster than light, bent space around itself, and carried enough power to destroy small moons. The beam hit Grand Admiral Vextar's flagship directly, the Eternal. Dominion, which had been the pride of the Corvian Empire, simply ceased to exist. Along with it, 20 other ships that had been too close to the flagship were vaporized instantly. Vextar himself was thrown from his command chair as his ship began to break apart around him. Emergency systems screamed warnings that no one could hear over the sound of metal tearing apart. The Grand Admiral, who had started this battle expecting an easy victory, found himself floating in space, watching his fleet being destroyed by enemies he had completely underestimated. At 12:05 p.m., exactly 5 minutes after the battle began, it was over. Of the 200 ships that had entered Earth's solar system, only 3 heavily damaged vessels remained. These ships were running away as fast as they could, their crews too terrified to fight anymore. The proud Corvian invasion fleet had been completely destroyed by a species they had thought was primitive and helpless. Captain Nina Brooks opened communication channels to broadcast a message that would be heard across the galaxy. Her voice was calm and professional, but her words carried a warning that would make every alien species think twice before threatening Earth. "This is Earth Defense Command," Nina said. "To any species listening to this transmission, know that Earth is under the protection of humanity. We are not the weak, primitive species you may have heard about. We are prepared to defend ourselves against any threat. Any future attacks on our world or our people will be met with overwhelming force." The message was transmitted on every frequency that aliens used for communication. Within hours, it would reach every corner of the galaxy, carried by the few Corvian survivors who had witnessed the impossible. Admiral Kate Morrison looked at the tactical display and allowed herself a small smile. 30 years of planning, 30 years of building weapons in secret, 30 years of letting aliens think. Humans were weak. All of it had led to this moment. "Stand down from combat alert," she ordered. "Begin rescue operations for any survivors. And send a message to all world leaders. Tell them the secret is out. From now on, humanity takes its rightful place in the galaxy." The 5-minute war was over, but its effects would last forever. The galaxy would never be the same again. 1 week after the 5-minute war that changed everything, the galaxy was still trying to understand what had happened. News of the Corvian Empire's devastating defeat spread faster than light itself, carried by traders, diplomats, and refugees, who could barely believe the reports they were hearing. The 3 surviving Corvian ships limped back to their homeworld, their hulls scarred and their crews traumatized. These veterans of 1,000 conquests had never seen anything like what the humans had done to their fleet. They brought news that would shake the Empire to its core. Grand Admiral Vextar sat in a military prison, waiting for his trial. He had been rescued from the wreckage of his flagship by a human search and rescue team, who had treated his injuries and then handed him over to the surviving Corvian vessels. The irony was not lost on him. The primitive humans had shown more mercy to their defeated enemies than his own empire usually did. How? Vextar asked himself over and over. How did we get it so wrong? The Corvian High Command was asking the same question. Emergency meetings were held throughout their empire as military leaders tried to understand how their most powerful fleet had been destroyed in 5 minutes by a species they had thought was barely capable of space travel. General Morphic, the Empire's chief military strategist, stood before a room full of terrified commanders. "We have underestimated the humans completely," he admitted. "Our intelligence reports were wrong. These creatures are not primitive. They may be the most advanced species in the galaxy." The Corvian Empire, which had been expanding for thousands of years, suddenly found itself on the defensive. If the humans could destroy 200 ships in 5 minutes, what else were they capable of? Panic spread through their military as commanders realized they might be facing an enemy they couldn't defeat. On Earth, President Helen Carter stood before the largest gathering of world leaders in human history. Representatives from every nation on the planet had come to the United Nations building to discuss humanity's new place in the galaxy. The secret that had been kept for 30 years was finally out, and everything had changed. For 3 decades, we have lived a lie, Helen told the assembled leaders. We told our people that we were alone in the universe, that aliens were just science fiction. We did this to protect them, to give our scientists time to prepare for the day when aliens would find us. The president of Brazil raised his hand. What happens now? The whole world knows about the alien attack. Our people are scared and confused. Helen nodded. We tell them the truth. All of it. We explain that we have been protecting them, that we are not helpless victims, but the most advanced species in known space. We help them understand that this is not the end of the world. It's the beginning of a new age for humanity. Admiral Kate Morrison was in her command center, dealing with the flood of communications that had been pouring in from across the galaxy. In 1 week, she had received messages from 47 different alien species. Some wanted to form alliances with humanity. Others demanded explanations for the destruction of the Corvian fleet. A few were trying to surrender before humans even attacked them. The Xenothari Republic wants to establish trade relations, her communications officer reported. The Alterian Confederacy is asking for our help in their war against the Blade Runners, and the Crystalline Hive wants to know if we're planning to conquer their territory. Kate rubbed her temples. 30 years of hiding from aliens, and now they all wanted to talk at once. Set up meetings with the peaceful ones, she ordered. Tell the hostile ones that we have no plans to expand beyond our own solar system, but we will defend ourselves if attacked. And find out what this Blade Runner war is about. We might want to help the Alterian Confederacy. Dr. Lisa Parker was the most famous scientist on Earth now that the truth about the Prometheus defense grid had been revealed. News reporters from around the world wanted to interview her about the weapons that had saved humanity. But Lisa was more interested in the alien technology they had captured from the destroyed Corvian ships. Their computers are incredibly advanced, she told her research team, but their weapons and shields are actually less sophisticated than ours. We've taken 30 years of alien technology and improved it beyond what its creators ever imagined. Dr. Mark Johnson, Lisa's assistant, looked at the readings from the captured alien equipment. So we're really more advanced than they are? Lisa smiled. In some ways, yes. They've been using the same technology for thousands of years, making small improvements. But humans think differently. We take an idea and completely reinvent it. We've turned their science into something they can't even understand. Commander Jake Sullivan was overseeing the expansion of Earth's space defenses. The 5-minute war had proven that humanity's weapons worked, but it had also shown that more aliens would be coming. Some would be peaceful, but others might want revenge for what happened to the Corvian Empire. We need more battle stations, Jake told his construction teams. Spread them throughout the solar system. If another alien fleet shows up, I want them to know immediately that they're outgunned. Jake's engineers were already working on new designs that would make their current weapons look simple. Human creativity, combined with captured alien technology, was producing innovations that amazed even the people building them. Lieutenant Commander Alex Parker had become the most famous pilot in human history. Videos of his squadron destroying The alien fighters had been broadcast around the world, making him a hero to millions of people. But Alex was more interested in training the next generation of human pilots. "The galaxy is full of species that might want to fight us," he told his new students. "Some of them will have better ships than the Corvians did. We need to be ready for anything." Alex's flight school was receiving applications from pilots around the world. Everyone wanted to learn to fly the incredible ships that had defeated the aliens so easily. Alex was happy to teach them, knowing that humanity would need skilled pilots for whatever came next. Captain Nina Brooks was working on the most important project of her career, establishing diplomatic relations with friendly alien species. Her years of experience in deception were now being used to build trust and understanding between humans and aliens who wanted to be allies. "The key is honesty," she explained to her diplomatic team. "For 30 years, we lied to aliens about our capabilities. Now we need to show them that we can be trusted. We don't want to conquer the galaxy. We just want to protect our home and our people." Nina's work was already paying off. Several alien species had expressed interest in forming a defensive alliance with humanity. They had seen what humans could do to their enemies, and they wanted to make sure they were on the right side if another war started. The survivors of the Corvian fleet carried news of humanity's power to every corner of the galaxy. In bars and trading posts on 1,000 worlds, aliens talked about the species that had destroyed an entire invasion fleet in 5 minutes. The stories grew in the telling until humans became almost mythical figures. On the planet Zarian, a Corvian veteran named Corvus told his story to anyone who would listen. "Their ships appeared out of nowhere," he said, his voice shaking with remembered fear. "They had weapons that could fire through dimensions. Their planet itself was a weapon. I saw ships bigger than cities vanish in seconds." The other aliens in the bar listened with wide eyes. Some didn't believe the story, but others had heard similar tales from the few Corvian survivors. Word was spreading that humanity was not to be trifled with. Back on Earth, ordinary people were slowly adjusting to the new reality. Children played games where they pretended to be space pilots fighting alien invaders. Adults watched the news. Every day, learning about the incredible technology their governments had been building in secret. Many people were angry that they had been lied to for so long, but most understood why the secrecy had been necessary. If the public had known about aliens, there would have been panic and chaos. The careful preparation that saved Earth would have been impossible. President Helen Carter appeared on television again, this time to announce humanity's new space program. "We are no longer hiding," she said. "Humanity will take its place among the stars. We will explore, we will trade, and we will make friends with peaceful aliens. But we will also be ready to defend ourselves against any threat." The announcement included plans for new space stations, colonies on other planets, and exploration missions to distant star systems. Humanity was no longer content to stay hidden on Earth. They were ready to show the galaxy what they could accomplish. Captain Tony Wells was chosen to lead the first official human expedition beyond the solar system. His mission was to visit nearby alien civilizations and establish formal diplomatic relations. His ship, the Ambassador, was equipped with the most advanced technology humanity had ever built. "We're not going as conquerors," Tony told his crew before they departed. "We're going as representatives of Earth. We'll show the galaxy that humans can be friends as well as fierce enemies." The Ambassador departed Earth with messages of peace and friendship from every nation on the planet. But it also carried weapons that could destroy entire fleets, just in case the diplomatic mission didn't go as planned. As Tony's ship disappeared into hyperspace, carrying home